Okay, I'm going to give you what I hope is a quick video going through our study guide for the Q2 end of term assessment. We started working on this on Friday and finished it up today, but this is just in case you didn't get it all done or you just want to hear it again before tomorrow's test. So number one, the line of latitude that divides the Earth into northern and southern hemispheres would of course be the equator. The line of longitude that divides the Earth into eastern and western hemispheres would be the prime meridian. All right, number two, you need to be able to find latitude and longitude for different spots on the Earth. We went through that today, reviewed it, talked about it today in class, so I'm not going to go through that right now. We moved down to the climate regions. A dry climate region has very little precipitation, so very, very little rain, which of course is why we call it dry. It's a type of climate you find in the desert or in the steppe areas near deserts. Also, it's generally hot during the day, but cool at night. Temperate climate zone, that's the type of climate that Portage is in. And you're going to have an obvious change of seasons. Type of climate Portage has. So in a temperate climate zone, you're going to have a difference, an obvious difference between summer and winter, for example. Polar climate is cold year-round, and it's found near the North and South Poles. Tropical climate region is pretty much the opposite of that. It is warm to hot year-round and found along the equator. And finally, the fifth major climate region is highland, and that is found in the mountains. And temperature and precipitation varies based on elevation, meaning how high up the mountain that you've gone. Okay? Difference between weather and climate. And we talked about that a bit last week, or reviewed that a bit last week, but weather is short term. The air temperature and precipitation today or in the near future. Climate, by contrast, is long-term. It is an area's average temps and precipitation all year round, I guess I'll say. So if you say that it's 27 degrees and sunny today, that would be an example of talking about the weather. If you say Portage has hot, humid summers and cold, snowy winters, that would be an example of climate. Okay, moving to culture. What makes up a person's culture? Culture is all that stuff that makes you the person that you are. Lots of things go into culture, but your beliefs, values, traditions, religious beliefs, the music you listen to, hobbies that you have, interests. If you're a sports fan or follow a particular sports team, that would be an example of your culture. Your style of dress, sports you play or follow, holidays you celebrate. All of those things make up a person's culture and much, much more. What do you call the spread of a culture trait from one place to another? That's cultural diffusion. Okay, so if a new way of dressing starts out in California and over the course of a couple of weeks or a couple of months spreads to the Midwest and all the way to the East Coast, that's an example of cultural diffusion. The difference between invention and innovation. We talked about that today in class. Invention is when you come up with a new idea that's never been seen before, while innovation is improving on something that already exists. And we gave lots of different examples. The telephone was invented by Alexander Graham Bell, but the telephone has been innovated upon all the way to the current cell phones that we carry around with us today. What body of water were both ancient Greece and ancient Rome centered around? And it's the Mediterranean Sea. And Mediterranean is a word I struggle with all the time. Let me take a look. Let me take a quick look to make sure I'm spelling it right. Sorry for the long delay. Mediterranean. Sorry about that. Which Roman leader declared himself dictator for life and was assassinated by members of the Senate? That, of course, was the late, great Julius Caesar. I think that's right. All right, also when we talked about ancient Rome, we talked about the Colosseum, people going to be entertained at the Colosseum, and we said that they went there to watch gladiator battles. Ancient Greece was made up of many independent city-states, which the Greeks called polises, like Athens, Sparta, Megara, and Corinth. We've talked about how ancient Greece wasn't one united empire. It was a number of individual city-states who all thought they were superior to each other, who all fought against each other from time to time. Okay, just two more to go here. What are some of the reasons for the fall of Rome? A series of bad emperors. They had high taxes and high unemployment, so they lost the loyalty of the people. Oh, let's see, some other reasons for the fall of Rome. The empire was too big. The Romans couldn't control it anymore. They didn't have enough soldiers to protect all their borders. And eventually they were attacked by the barbarians, especially the people of Northern Europe who they had conquered in the past. When the barbarians of Northern Europe realized that Rome wasn't as strong as it had been, they took advantage of it and actually marched themselves all the way to the city of Rome and sacked the city. All right, let's see here. Let me get this dropped down so we can see it better. Finally, finally it says be sure to study your government notes from earlier this week. And if you go to my website and take a look, I linked this earlier today. If you just go, well, you're already at MrHeimberg.com, but you'll notice it says types of government notes. It says click here to see the notes from the video last week. And if you click on that, you will get a quick little movie that shows the slides that I showed talking about the 5 forms of government that we discussed. Republic. Not sure if you click through if it'll speed up. I don't think it won't because it's a movie, but things roll through every couple of seconds. But it talks about the differences between republics, direct democracy, communism, dictatorship, and monarchy. So if you take, literally 3 or 4 minutes, you can go through that and remind yourself, especially if you've lost your graphic organizer that we did on this. Okay, so all of these things will be on tomorrow's test. So hopefully you watch this a couple times, you practice. Trying to see if I can come up with latitude and longitude. I'm trying to see if we can find a quick example of that. Nope, that's getting latitude and longitude. I probably should be more direct. How to find. Still not quite what I want. And like I said, we went ahead and reviewed this in every class. I think we'll be fine, and I can even review a little bit before we take the test tomorrow. All right. Hope you study hard and do well tomorrow.